Another conversion method you may find yourself running into is converting a polygon surface over to a subdivision surface. Now, this is something that you'll probably do a lot when you're modeling with subds and polygons. Now, what I'm going to do for starters is just create a polygon cube, like so, and we'll scale it up. And let's go over to Modify, Convert, and we have Polygon to Subdiv. You'll notice this has a hotkey. You can hit the Alt-tilde key, like so, and immediately get that conversion. So it's a lot like using Smooth Proxy in that regard. Also, notice how it automatically puts you in polygon mode when you do that. So it really is like a higher level of Smooth Proxy. Now let me go ahead and undo that. We'll come back over to Modify, Convert, Polygons to Subdiv, and we'll open up our options. Now we have Maximum Base Mesh Faces. What you're doing when you convert a polygon over to a subd is basically you're taking your polygon object and it is becoming the base mesh. Therefore, if your polygon object you're converting happens to have more faces than the maximum base mesh allows, then you won't get a conversion. For example, if I take subdivision's width in this case and set it to 100 on each side, so faces, I have 60,000 faces on this polygon cube. The Borg would be proud. Now I can come in here and select this, go to Modify, Convert, Poly to Subdiv, and when I click Apply, Command Poly to Subdiv failed, open script editor for details. So if you fire up the script editor, you get the following message. It says, warning, nothing is selected. Error, Poly to Subdiv 1, cannot create subdivision surface as the resulting surface would have more base mesh faces, in this case 60,000, than the maximum allowed, which is only 1,000. So what it says, to increase the maximum allowed, change maximum base mesh faces and convert to subdiv options. Now you could come in here and set this to 60,000 and this would work. I am not going to put my computer through that. Not for you. So there. I will come in here and set this down to something like, 50. So I end up with 15,000. I don't know, maybe even lower than that. Let's just see what I get with 20. There's 2,400. So even this, if I tried to convert at the default setting of 1,000, I'll still get an error. But I can take this and set it up to 2,400, click Apply, and it does indeed convert. This is now a subdivision surface with nice, pretty rounded corners, and it's fun to look at and all that sort of thing. So that's pretty easy to understand. It's just how many faces that your model can have, in order to convert. Next, you have maximum edges per vertex. Now, this is not something that you need to worry about in a lot of cases, because how many times will you have 32 edges leading into a single vertex? Well, here's one example. We could come in here to subdivision. We'll grab a cylinder, of course, polygon cylinder. We'll take subdivision's axis and set this to 33, which is just one more than the given number. Click Apply, and we get an error. We get the exact same thing, except it reads a little differently. Some vertex valences exceed maximum allowable valence limit. To increase the valence limit, change option found in Convert to Subdiv options. So if that gets you confused, because nothing in here actually says the word valence, what they're talking about is maximum edges per vertex. If we set this up to 33, oh, by the way, I did want to say this. It is going to tell you which vertices are in question here. In this case, 66 and 67. So if I come in here and grab vertices, check this out. 67 and 66. You can actually go and check that out, and if you want to edit that yourself, you really can, which is very cool. But I could set this up to 33, and when I hit Apply, everything goes through just fine, and I have a really funny surface that looks like those nasty hard candies that your grandmother tries to give you every time you visit. Or mine does, anyway. So there you go with that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of our other options. We can choose to keep the original, and if we keep the original object, we can choose whether or not that's going to be standard, where there's no history shared between the two, like so. So if I were to come in here and move vertices around, there's no connection, as you can see. Or I could set this to proxy object, which is kind of what you see here, like so. Now, what this has actually done in the case of polygons is this has taken the whole object, it has converted it over to subdivision surfaces, and it has put us into polygon mode. If I switch back over to standard mode, then notice that that whole polygon disappears. So just so you're aware of what's actually going on there behind the scenes. And that's really all there is to this type of conversion. Again, it's very easy. The numbers and settings are just a way for you to keep from creating a surface that is maybe too complex and might cause your computer to explode. So that will wrap things up for this video. Thanks a lot.